In the headlines, Nigeria records 532 meningitis cases, 124 deaths. Southern Kaduna community says 518 indigents killed in 5 years. 9 Nigerian students involved in bus mishap arrive Port Sudan. And on the international scene, Palestinian hunger striker Khadir Adnan dies in Israeli prison. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. And now the news in full. We'll start with health. Nigeria has reported a total of 532 cases confirmed out of 1,686 suspected cases of meningitis, including 124 deaths for a case fatality ratio of 7%. The cases were reported from 81 local government areas in 22 states, including the Federal Capital Territory in Nigeria from October 1st, 2022 to April 16, 2023. This is according to the epidemiology situation of the disease in Nigeria as of April 27, 2023, released by the World Health Organization. The report showed that males account for 57% of the total suspected cases, while the highest proportion of reported cases is among children aged 1 to 15 years. Jigawa State, bordering the Zinda region in Niger, where a meningitis outbreak has been reported since October 2022, accounts for 74% of all suspected cases. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has denied reports of banning Indomie instant noodles and has assured customers that a product is safe for consumption. It should be recalled that health officials in Malaysia and Taiwan had claimed to detect ethylene oxide, a carcinogenic substance responsible for lymphoid cancer and breast cancer in the product, leading to a series of investigations of Indo Foods, manufacturers of the product. Despite this scare, the Director General of Health Agency, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, has asked consumers not to fret over the South Asian countries' preemptive measures. She also disclosed that the body has countermeasures to prevent the importance of this product from affected nations. Professor Adeyeye, however, stated that it was in no way disregarding the reports, but is responding to the news as a cautionary post-marketing monitoring measure to ensure that locally made noodles stay safe. She also said that NAFDAC will begin random sample of Indomie noodles, including the seasoning from the production facilities, to ascertain their safety levels for consumptions. And on security, the Atiap Community Development Association in the Zangon Kataf local government area of Kaduna State has said that no fewer than 518 people have been killed by armed herdsmen in various attacks on communities in the local government area in the past 5 years. The community also accused the military personnel deployed to the area of bias and not doing enough to stop the incessant attacks that have displaced about 20 communities and thousands of residents. Addressing a press conference at Samaru Kataf in Zangon Kataf, National President of the association, Samuel Achi, vowed that the persistent attacks and unwarranted killings in Atiap land would be resisted. He also demanded the immediate removal of the sector commander of Operation Safe Haven, Brigadier General Timothy Opurum, whom he accused of being biased and distorting the real facts about the killings. A former Minister of Environment, Laurentia Malam, and a member of Kaduna State House of Assembly, Danladi Kwasu, both indigenes of Atiap community, believe that the attacks are surmountable if there is sincerity and determination on the part of the government and security agencies. While the people of Atiap community have vowed to resist any further attack on their land by suspected militia headers, They are calling on the incoming administration in Kaduna State to ensure inclusive governance and improve security and development in Atiab land and many other areas ravaged by killings in the state. President Muhammadu Buhari has reappointed Abike Dabiri Erewa for a second term as the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCAM. The notice of her reappointment was contained in a letter written by the President of the Senate requesting the upper chamber to confirm her reappointment. President Buhari also wrote a separate letter to the Senate seeking the confirmation of appointment of 6 federal commissioners of the Revenue, Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, to fill the existing vacancies in the state. The nominees are Ayogu Eze, Peter Okpara, Hawa Aliyu, Rajia Ayuba, Kolawole Adebola, and Ismail Agaka. Meanwhile, the Red Chamber has mandated its Committee on Interior to investigate the circumstances causing the delay in the issuance and renewal of passports by the Nigeria Immigration Service. The Senate has also asked its Committee on Interior to probe the contract for the printing of passports by the Nigeria Immigration Service. The Senate issued these directives to its Committee on Interior at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday, following a motion by Senator Uche Ekwenife, who said Nigerians are facing hardship and stress in getting their passports. Moving on to politics, suspended Adamawa State Residents Electoral Commissioner Dr. Hudu Yunusa Ari has denied receiving bribe, to announce Aishatu Binani as winner of the governorship election in the state, saying that he has no regret for his actions. In his first interview granted to the BBC since his suspension, the REC explained his role in the election and his readiness to answer police invitation on the matter, insisting that he is not hiding.
Da Binani da Fintili ban tambaye su ba, kuma ban aika wani biban ko kwandala.
Between Binani and Fintiri, I have not asked any one of them to give a penny. I'm saying it openly. I did not receive money from the both parties. If they gave me money, they would have told people about it. I don't collect bribe because it is unlawful and it will tarnish my image and reputation. Where will I take 2 billion naira to? I also saw it on the social media that I was given 2 billion, and that's actually a fallacy. It is actually true that the police have invited me to come, and I will definitely go soon to clarify myself on the issue. I have no regrets. Something you do in accordance with the law, you don't regret it.
A former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs and now Senator-elect for the Ikot-Ekpene Senatorial District, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his intent to become the President of the 10th National Assembly Senate. He stated this on Sunday evening after meeting with the President at his official residence inside the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Akpabio also said as President of the Senate, he would work closely with incoming Asiwaju Bola Tinubu presidency to empower Nigerians, particularly the youths. The senator-elect, who said besides visiting, to inform the president of his intent to lead the next Senate, the visit was to thank the president for the opportunity to serve as minister in his administration. He added that he presented his certificate of return to the number 1 citizen.
Akpabio is known as an uncommon transformer. Akpabio is known as a man who is result-oriented. I recall that when I was a governor, I brought so many innovations to bear, infrastructurally, educationally, socially, and otherwise, and also in terms of human empowerment. So I intend to bring a lot of reforms into the Senate in the ways and manner we do business to assist the next administration to succeed. We will be very thorough in doing everything. We will bring about loyalty to the Constitution. We will bring about loyalty to Nigerians. We will tackle issues through legislation to empower Nigerians, and particularly the youths. The restiveness that we are seeing across the nation, we will do our best to make good laws and to assist the administration to bring about policies that will empower the youths of the country. I made that promise even on the convention day, that being a man who used to turn boys into men and who still do, that I'll be glad to work with the incoming president, who has also shown that example in Lagos State when he was a governor, and thereafter as a leader of the APC in Nigeria. He has continued to turn boys into men. And as president of the country, after his swearing in, I expect that he will continue to do so. So the youths are in for a very good time in terms of empowerment. There will be no time for slacking. And then we will restrict a lot of them from being lured into criminality, into brigandage and all that. So we will get them working. And I believe strongly, with the help of God Almighty, that both the National Assembly and the executive will do a lot for the youth of this country.
The 9 Nigerian students who left at the RSF checkpoint after the bus conveying them had its tire busted have also arrived in Port Sudan. This is according to a source from the Sudan Evacuee Situation Room who craved anonymity. According to him, the students joined another bus sent by the transport company, which left 9 seats for them. On their way, they learned that the rest of the students had been held up somewhere after the city of Atbara. There are about 5,500 Nigerian students who are expected to arrive from Sudan in the evacuation that commenced on Wednesday. Now, according to National Emergency Management Agency, 13 buses conveyed the first batch of the evacuees from Khartoum in Sudan to Egypt, from where they will be airlifted to Nigeria. Nigeria has hired a total of 40 buses for the evacuation. A Lagos State bus rapid transport driver Osibajo Oluwaseun, who collided with a moving train at Ikeja and allegedly killed 6 people, was on Tuesday arraigned before an Ikeja High Court. The defendant, who was arraigned before Justice Oyidamola Ogala, is facing 16 counts bordering on involuntary manslaughter and previous harm preferred against him by the state government. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Babajide Martins, told the court that the BRT driver negligently killed the victims by ignoring warning signals and ran into an oncoming train. He said the defendant also negligently inflicted grievous harm on 10 other passengers on the bus. More details as the story unfolds. Residents of Katsina State have expressed divergent opinions after President Muhammadu Buhari made passionate appeal for pardon about his stewardship before his exit on May 29. Abdullahi Yamadi samples the opinion of some residents and now reports.
Katsina State has its share of rising banditry and the resultant destructions and dislocations. Even though President Buhari hails from the state, Katsina is not insulated from the economic hardship the rest of the country is facing. Inflation and the Naira redesign policy have negative impacts on businesses in the state. Little wonder the president's passionate appeal for pardon generated heated arguments among residents.
Why are they asking for forgiveness? For God's sake, if they knew that they have done something meaningful and impacted to the welfare of the citizens of the country or to the state that they are governing. This is, to me, from my own perspective, is that it is just because they took our electorate, the masses, the majority of the masses, as ignorant.
I think this is not the right time that Mr. President should come out and seeking for forgiveness to Nigerians.
President Muhammadu Buhari, as he just come out publicly seeking for forgiveness to Nigerians. Yes, Buhari came into the mantle of leadership during the time when the country was in economic setback. The insecurity level was high.
This is in addition to uncompleted dualization of Katsina-Kano Road and 10 megawatts Lambarimi windmill electricity projects, among many other promises by the government. But the President Buhari's pardon appeal gets endorsement of some scholars and clerics from the religious perspectives.
Why not? We forgive. My religion says forgive and forget. That's what the Bible said. I'm a Christian. So I believe somebody can make mistake. I believe everybody is human, so we make mistake. So whenever someone realizes mistakes and asks for forgiveness, I believe we are humans. We need to forgive because God forgives us every day.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command us, we as Muslims, to forgive. Don't ever think that whenever you are in power, you can do whatever you want to do, and at the end of your tenure, you will just ask for forgiveness, and that is all. That is the end of the story. No. Even if they forgive you, there is so many things Allah will ask you on it.
With only a few days away to the expiration of the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, many residents are hopeful the incoming administration will address shortcomings and consolidate on the successes of the government. Abdullahi Izumay Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at how climate change is affecting fishing activities. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update, and here is a recap of our top stories. We brought you Nigeria records 532 meningitis cases, 124 deaths. And Southern Kaduna community says 518 indigents killed in 5 years. Now moving on to more stories. 11 suspected oil thieves have been nabbed with thousands of liters of adulterated gasoline oil ego, trucks, cars, and a wooden boat in different parts of Rivers State. The State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, which made the arrest, disclosed this while addressing the press. The report.
Briefing newsmen on the arrest at Ogbogoro Jetty, one of its exhibit yards in Port Harcourt. The NSCDC River State Commandant Michael Orga vowed that the resurgence of illegal oil refining activities in the state will be ruthlessly dealt with.
You see the exhibits that were arrested within 1 week. And this exhibit includes illegally refined AGO. The one we showed you inside that pop boat. And that one, we told that is about 30,000 liters. We also showed you this one behind us is crude. The quantity cannot be ascertained now. Also, we show you the one in that Pathfinder and the one in those other 2 vehicles. They were arrested within the last 7 days. We have about 11 suspects.
Commandant Orga, who said the gradual resurgence of illegal crude oil activities in Rivers State will not be taken lightly. Further, explained that the Corps has advanced its intelligence to quell the nefarious activities of those involved in bunkering.
The security agencies are working as a group sanitizing to fight this illegality. But what we observe is that the security agency cannot be everywhere. Sometimes when we destroy their illegal refineries, when we go to other sections, they rebuild them. Like as I talk to you now, our men, they are working in Akutoro and Asaitoro area now with the Nigerian Navy. We have destroyed more than 300 illegal refineries now.
The NSCDC Rivers boss hinted that the suspects will face the full wrath of the law, while the adulterated products will be forfeited to the federal government after a thorough investigation.
Climate change is threatening fishing activities at Ajua Dam, a major source of water for irrigation and fish farming in Katsina State. Jamil Mabai takes a look at the impact of climate change on the dam size and how it's affecting the livelihoods of hundreds of fishermen in the state.
Located in the heart of Katsina State, Ajua Dam is one of the vital sources of irrigation and fishery. More than 30,000 people rely on the dam for domestic and commercial purposes. For 3 decades, Abdul Rashidu has been fishing in Ajua Dam. He made a living out of it. On daily basis, he catches up to 100 to 200 fishes, but that has completely changed. Now he spent hours with fewer or no catch in a day. You can put this fish net in the dam and hardly will you get 10 fish out of it. I used to get more than 100 fish, but now I get 5 to 10, at most 15 to 20. Over the last few years, the dam's water levels and the size keep reducing. Experts say it is due to the rising temperatures and increased evaporation rates caused by climate change. Ajua borders 2 local government areas that borders the Sahel in Niger Republic. That is what we call the sand movement. Scientific research shows that after every 5 years, local government areas like Mayadwa and Zango in Katsina, the desert expands by 40 meters. It carries the sand in large quantity during strong wind and deposited in the dam. Where there is dam, the wind cannot carry the sand above the water. Fishermen who once relied on the dam for their daily catch have suffered economic setback. Declining water levels mean fewer fish are available to catch, affecting their income and the local food supply, which is heavily reliant on fish. With old age against him, Abdul Rashidu might be forced out of business due to climate change. Experts said rising water temperatures and erratic weather patterns are impacting the reproduction and migration of fish, leading to a significant decrease in the fish population. To combat the adverse effects of climate change on fishery in Ajua Dam, Katsina, the government is expected to provide robust measures to increase the dam's water capacity and develop sustainable measures to ensure that local fishing industry can thrive despite the changes experienced. Jamil Mabai, reporting for Trust TV, Katsina.
And now from the international scene. Palestinian prisoner Khadir Adnan, who was affiliated with the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group, has died in an Israeli prison after nearly 3 months on a hunger strike. Adnan refused to undergo medical tests and received medical treatment and was found unconscious in his cell in the early morning on Tuesday. Adnan began his hunger strike shortly after being arrested on February 5th. He had gone on hunger strike several times after previous arrests, including a 55-day strike in 2015 to protest his arrest under so-called administrative detention, in which suspects are held indefinitely by Israel without charge or trial. Israel is currently holding more than 1,000 Palestinian detainees without charge or trial, the highest number since 2003, according to the Israeli human rights group Hamukt. 2 pastors are due to appear on Tuesday before Kenya courts suspected of being behind the death of at least 109 people found buried in what has been dubbed the Shakahola Forest Massacre. Deeply religious and Christian majority with more than 4,000 registered churches, Kenya has been stunned by the revelations of seeking God by starvation. The 2 men are in detention and scheduled to appear in courts in different towns on Tuesday. Self-proclaimed Pastor Paul Mackenzie Ntenge, who set up the Good News International Church in 2003, will be in the dock in the coastal town of Malindi, accused of inciting followers to starve to death to meet Jesus at the sleepy nearby outpost of Shakahola. Ezekiel Odero, a wealthy and well-known tele-evangelist, is expected in court at the East African nation's second city, Mombasa, following his arrest in Malindi on Thursday. Odero is suspected of murder, aiding suicide, abduction, radicalization, crimes against humanity, child cruelty, fraud, and money laundering. The prosecution is seeking to detain him for a further 30 days, citing credible information linking the corpses exhumed at Shakahola to the death of several innocent and vulnerable followers from Odero's New Life Prayer Central and churches. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.